Hello there, Oz.
Hello there, Curtis.
Hey, what movie are we watching this week?
This week, we've got the movie marriage of The Karate Kid
Yeah.
meets Superbad
Okay.
with a lot of Rescue Me,
Yeah.
all in the form of motivational posters.
Hang
This
in there.
week, we are watching The Amazing Spider-Man.
Emotional sport posters.
I feel like that's all May and Ben, that's the only way they speak to Peter, is
Yeah.
in just motivational
Cliches.
speeches. Yeah, cliche motivational speeches. And pick up some eggs. Like,
But that phrase right there motivates me.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
I love eggs, so
That's true. And,
so if
and
somebody tells me we're gonna have eggs, yeah,
something has to care for the future. So
something does.
welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme, this month being Spider-Man month.
Yes,
I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I am the other host, Curtis.
And we want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L., Colin K., and Lyle M. Thank you one and all for your patronage.
Yes, our local heroes.
Yes, you are our local heroes. So, The Amazing Spider-Man. Last
Yes.
week we did Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
The best of that trilogy, and honestly, one of the best comic book movies, period.
Yes,
Um,
also agreed.
But Sony decided, let's relaunch
Yep.
into a new Spider-Man and a new...
Yeah.
Not even a generation, because like I said, this movie only come out like 8 years after after Maguire's first one.
Yeah.
But it's a different vibe for sure.
Much different vibe, yeah.
Yeah. A little darker, a little grittier.
Mhm.
Not Spider-Man. We're not talking like a dark, gritty Spider-Man, but just the
it,
world.
It wasn't like goth Tobey Maguire as Peter
No.
Parker for
Well,
those couple minutes in Spider-Man 3.
it rains a lot in this movie.
It-
That's one. So it's shot on the set of The Crow, I believe.
He had that makeup on too the whole time.
He is our most Eric Dravenist Spider-Man.
He was constantly flipping his hair.
Right. Can't rain all the time.
So dark and brooding.
That's right. So dark and brooding. Do all the social media stuff you're supposed to. Like, subscribe, follow. Go to the website, letstalkaboutflix.com,
Mhm.
and let's get into it. Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I'm still wearing my Spider-Man shirt that I had.
I noticed you put it
last
back
week
on
as
for
well.
this
I
week.
did.
Yeah.
I arranged my laundry.
Coincidentally,
just right.
I have on the same Wally t-shirt that I had on
Mhm.
last week. So fun.
It's just amazing how that worked out.
Yeah. Speaking of amazing, who's in the Amazing Spider-Man?
Who's in the Amazing Spider-Man? I teed you up perfectly there. So again, we've moved on from Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Again, as you mentioned, we're in a new Spider universe here
Yeah.
with the relaunch. And this time we have British actor Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Loves lasagna.
He does.
Yeah.
He hates Mondays.
And Mondays and stupid dogs.
He refuses to help people on Mondays. That's his day off.
Right. Yeah, Spider-Man needs a day off.
Yeah, and he just carbo loads on Mondays.
Yep.
So Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker Spider-Man, and instead of Mary Jane Watson as the love interest here, we switch to Peter's other famous romantic interest, Gwen Stacy, who very famous or infamously, depending on perspective, died at the hands of Green Goblin in the comics, and then much more infamously was revealed that she and Norman Osborn had a thing, and there was kids, and it was bad, and let's just leave the rest of that unsaid.
Yeah.
But Emma Stone,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Emma Stone plays Gwen Stacy, Peter's high school classmate. She's also an intern at Oscorp because there's a big corporate sort of baddie in this as well. And that's the love interest. We have Rhys Ifans as Dr. Curt Connors, aka Lizard.
Right.
He's the villain in this one. A scientist at Oscorp. He only has one limb. And he's
he has 3 limbs.
Well, correct. He has one limb on the top of his body.
Or there you go.
Yeah,
One arm.
in total, he has 3 limbs.
It's actually amazing how much he's accomplished as a doctor, as a scientist with just the one limb.
He was the one in the garden in Shaun of the Dead where they goes, he's got an arm off.
That's yeah.
Yeah, it was him. We've got Dennis Leary, your Rescue Me reference,
Yep.
which was great, by the way, as George Stacy, a police captain, and also coincidentally Gwen's father, because as we've established, big cities in America in movies are very small places.
Very small. Small.
Yes.
Very homey.
Yes. We have Campbell Scott as Richard Parker, Peter's father, that we see in some flashbacks and such, former Oscorp scientist and former partner of Dr. Connors. We have Irfan Khan as Oscorp executive Rajit Ratha. Martin Sheen and Sally Field play Uncle Ben and Aunt May in this movie. Embeth Davidtz is there as May Parker. Chris Zilka as Flash Thompson, as stereotypical high school bully.
Yeah.
We've got a C. Thomas Howell in there. We get a Stan Lee cameo.
We get a Army of Darkness Embeth Davidtz as Peter's mother.
For a split second, I was like, "Oh, Raimi brought back." Oh, wait, this wasn't Raimi.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So again, some different characters than we saw in Raimi's original trilogy. So yeah,
that is one of the nice things about the Spider-Verse is there are so many characters.
It's so big. It's such a big universe, and
not just Spider-Man and villains, but there's so many characters that you can completely relaunch the franchise. Keep
basically with a whole new set of characters.
Yeah, keeping Spider-Man and his family, and then the rest of it could be anybody you want. And they're all comic book canon accurate, so you're good. Yeah. This movie kicks off different because we actually see Peter's parents.
Yes, they're not just sort of veiled references like in the Raimi movies.
Yeah, this movie kicks off with Peter as a very young man. Discovering that someone has broken into the house, and he calls for his dad, and his parents come in realizing the house has been burglarized and realize that they're in trouble. Peter doesn't know it, we don't know it, but they're basically packing up the office, erasing chalk on the chalkboard, and we gotta leave.
Gotta get out of here.
And they drop Peter off with Aunt-May and Uncle Ben, and that's the last of what we see of them. But it's the first time that we actually see a little bit of that backstory. It doesn't amount to a ton other than just drawing a connection later with Connors. But other than that, it's there. Yeah. So fast forward, and Peter is a struggling teenage student at Midtown Science High School.
At America High School.
Exactly. At City High.
USA High.
Very, again, as the character, very intelligent, socially awkward. I wouldn't call him a nerd. I don't think this iteration of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, in my opinion, is not a nerd.
He's not like D&D bookworm nerd. He is kind of a sciencey nerd.
Yeah, he's very intelligent, but he's handsome. That's one thing that I think they play up a little bit is he's on the social outside of things, but
he's not an outcast.
No, exactly. He's not an outcast. So
yeah, well, he rides a skateboard, so he's
right,
cool.
Yeah. He's got a hoodie. Like,
hey there, fellow youths.
Yeah, he's allowed to wear a hoodie, so you can't be that weird.
Yeah.
But he's bullied a lot because it's Flash, and Flash bullies everyone.
That's what he does.
Early on, he comes across a fight out in the Commons. Apparently, all the staff
they're all there.
The entire staff.
All the staff is at lunch, and all the kids are there.
Yeah, all the kids are there. You guys all go outside. Let us eat lunch in peace. As Flash is beating up some kid, he's literally picking him up and rubbing his face in his lunch tray.
You're gonna lick that white turd.
That's right. And Peter's telling him, Flash, put him down. Finally, to break the tension, calls him by his name, like Francis or something. I don't know. Which then all that negative bully energy has to go on to Peter because why? Because Peter called you by your birth name that everyone probably knows anyway.
Nobody calls me Francis.
That's right. Yeah. Careful there, Francis. So, we establish a lot of that. Like we said pre-show, there's so much world building in this movie, which it's frustrating because we just built that world in Raimi's movies.
Yeah.
Now we're building it again. It's the same way that like every Superman relaunch has to rebuild this. Like, no, you're not built. It's built.
Yes.
We know it. I'm not stumbling into The Amazing Spider-Man because this is curiosity to me. I have no idea what this film's about. I get that. When I see Jason Statham's The Beekeeper, I don't have a clue what that movie's about. I'm going to go, I might go see it. But Amazing Spider-Man, look, the foundation's set.
Don't you dare besmirch the Beekeeper verse.
But it's like, I don't need 45 minutes of world building.
Exposition, yeah.
In a world I already know.
Yeah.
Peter's got a crush on Gwen, who has a crush on Peter. Gwen, feels like she has this on again, off again thing with Flash. I don't know. It's a small school. It's a small school. Peter discovers Dad's briefcase that we saw them leave the house with at the, kind of the introduction to the film.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds his dad's briefcase at May and Ben's. Something that he kind of has been led to believe that we don't know much about your parents, Peter, but he's uncovering that. I think Garfield's Spider-Man does a much better job with teenage angst.
Sure.
So he's a little bit of distrust there of, why didn't I know about this? Yeah. Why you kept this from me?
Well, he's not as naive or innocent as the Tobey Maguire version.
Right.
And part of that is the acting, part of that is just the script.
Yeah. Well, and I think they're trying to build this Peter of, he doesn't have his parents. Like, he's gonna have some like emotional decay simply because even though he's got a great mother and father figure, they're not his mother.
They're not his parents. And that's regardless of how strong the parental figures are.
Right.
Yeah, there's still going to be something there, something missing.
So, Ben expositions that your father was a great friend of Dr. Connors. He works at Oscorp. He's working its cross-species genetic, Uncle Ben's keeping tabs on the science. He knows what's up. So again, all of this just exposition so that Peter has a reason to go to Oscorp.
Yeah.
Shows up at Oscorp. Guess who is leading the tour? Gwen Stacy.
Of course.
Yeah. Because
New York's a small place,
It's a small place. So he steals some kid's name tag. It was kind of a fun scene as we get this kid who's trying to check in late, get escorted off the premises because they don't check IDs. They don't. You tell them who you are and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter sneaks in.
It's just like voting in America, right, Oz?
Exactly. All the voter fraud.
All the fraud everywhere.
That's right. You just show up and give them a name. Mm-hmm. Vote as many times as you want.
As many times. Fake mustache. Yeah.
Yep. It's all day. In all these small towns in America.
And there's just fraud everywhere. It's rampant.
So, again, Peter's hoping to figure out about his father's work.
Yeah.
He found the notes, and naturally he instantly understood the notes, and
a lot of science in those notes.
He knows them. He's a Parker. He's gonna know.
Just intuits it.
So he breaks away from the group, sneaks into a restricted lab, which can't be that restricted, because he simply just watched a guy log in, put in the passcode and gets in, and he gets bit by a spider. Which sucks.
Yeah.
But lucky for us, he's now Spider-Man. So,
and it's not like we don't know what's going to happen to him.
Exactly. Gwen kind of confronts him on his way out because, small town, and it's like, what do you?
Well, because she knew that he wasn't supposed to be there, but she still let him stay.
She played along,
but she cornered him and says, "Stay with the group." And seconds later, he's off on his own.
He's off on his own because he's reliable. So then we get a large montage of, and I'm just going to cut it as that, a long montage of discovering his spider powers.
Yeah.
his strength, his agility, his speed, etc. Like
he's on a train and like his powers kick in and he's on the ceiling and he's accidentally beating people up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like you said, he's on his way home from Oscorp, falls asleep on the subway or whatever.
I do like just one quick thing I'm going to mention. And again, you and I have a thing for pointing out movie exposition.
Yes.
While we're at Oscorp, that we get exposition via the PA in Oscorp.
Yes.
Oscorp is working on defense, biomedical, and chemical technologies. Like, thanks, PA.
Thank you. Well, it's better than having had to meet Norman or, like Oscorp is established. That's the odd thing is it's like, we're not going to describe to you what Oscorp is, but we are going to describe to you, how Spider-Man gets his powers.
Yeah.
Like
choices.
Yeah. It's like, well, we already talked about Oscorp in the original trilogy. So here's Peter getting his powers again.
Yeah.
But yeah, a fun little kind of subway thing is he's becoming aware of his powers at the same time he's beating up street punks. Or I guess train punks. Cut to the reason, right? Dr. Connors is working on some experiments in an effort to regenerate limbs. Again, kind of like we talked last week with Doc Ock and his sustainable energy for the good. This was all based in positivity. If we can have this medical breakthrough, we can regenerate limbs on people. Like we could bring Herpes back to life, for those less fortunate, including himself, who is without
as
limb.
a byproduct. Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately for Connors, he's in a strict timeline.
Yes.
Because his boss is dying.
Because Norman Osborn is dying.
Who we never see.
No, he's just mentioned. But yeah, this is where Rajit Ratha kicks in. It's basically the middleman of, you better get after it, Connors, because you solely are responsible for shaming you for your boss's life. And he can't get it. Like Connors, just failure after failure after failure. And Peter, like we mentioned last week, with Doc Ock, points out the flaws in the science and points them out here too. I think it's the decay rate algorithm, which happened to be what Richard Parker was working on prior to fleeing. So this whole Parker Connors working together, this science for this regenerative stuff has been going on for 15 years, or however old, however long they've been gone. So he brings up the decay rate algorithm, which then makes Connors and Peter BFFs, invites him over a lot. This is where Peter reveals Richard Parker's son. Here's the algorithm, by the way. So we're trying to create the Spider-Man pathway while creating a villain in the midst, while also navigating the rest of the Peter Parker stuff.
Yeah.
That's a lot and
the world
on.
Building, clearly there's more to Oscorp. There's more to Richard Parker.
Yeah. There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
So while we are struggling to keep up with everything that's going on, you can only imagine Peter, who is also struggling. So he and Uncle Ben get in a fight, and Peter leaves. But again, with these spider powers, like destroys the window, like the glass in the front door. May's like, we should probably let him go. Like, give him some time. To which Ben's like, okay, he's had about a 4-second head start. I'm going after him.
Yeah.
I'm hit or miss on Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben.
Yeah. I didn't think Sheen was bad.
Exactly. Like he's
I'll
a
leave
quality actor.
Because there's a part to that sentence that I'm going to bring up as a bad later.
Fair
on.
enough. All right, we'll leave it alone.
I thought Sheen was competent.
Yeah,
as Uncle Ben.
Right, and we'll leave it at that because we'll touch on it later.
Yeah.
So, Peter leaves and he goes in, and this is it's the story. Like it's just the story.
Yeah.
Peter goes into this little bodega or whatever to buy some milk, and he doesn't have enough money, and he's 2 cents short. So he takes a couple pennies, and the guy behind the counter is like, "You can't take a penny unless you leave 10." Like it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. But it's another like like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A guy comes up behind Peter, throws some misdirection, steals everything out of the register, tosses the milk to Peter. Somebody's finally caught a break, Peter, with this guy. Well, turns out that this thief is trying to then, somebody yells thief, and then Uncle Ben, who of course was 4 seconds behind Peter, is doing what he's told Peter to do.
Be responsible.
Yes, he's been telling Peter all along, it's your job to do good. It's your job to do the right thing at all times. And so he doesn't do the right thing by stopping this thief. Uncle Ben tries to do the right thing by stopping this thief and gets killed.
Yeah.
So there's your Spider-Man Uncle Ben death backstory thing. It is what it is. So he dons the suit. He's doing his web thing. He falls through because, again, he's now tracking down because he saw a star tattoo on the left wrist of this thief. So now I've got to go find this guy.
Got to get revenge.
Yep, it's got to be revenge. So he's basically, he falls through a ceiling and he sees this like Mexican wrestling mask on a poster and and he's a luchador now.
Basically, yeah.
So he goes home and he creates the suit and he's Spider-Man. I mean, again, I know we're just kind of glossing over it, but it's the Spider-Man mythos.
Rey Mysterio Jr. influenced a lot of my life choices too.
I agree. Yeah, mine as well. I drawing a blank on Jushin Thunder Liger.
Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
I think other Ultimo Dragon.
Those high flyer those are so fun though. So he's basically fleeing through New York looking for he builds his own web builders because unlike Maguire's Spider-Man, he doesn't naturally produce webs.
Yeah.
Thankfully Oscorp does though.
Yeah.
Oscorp makes some sort of,
it's like a micro cable, I think is how they describe it.
Yeah. So he buys up a bunch of that, creates his own spandex suit, and he's, traveling through town tracking down criminals to match this guy's description.
Yeah, these like kind of scraggly blonde-haired, like male criminals.
There's a dime a dozen in New York. In the small town of New York, there are a dime a dozen. But of course, we end every one of these in the montage with pulling back the left sleeve to see if he's got this tattoo. So he's still got the budding romance with Gwen's family. He's still doing the Spider-Man thing on the side of stopping these criminals, which of course the police aren't getting to. At one point, he even stops a carjacker. We start to see a lot of arrogance coming out of Spider-Man now because Peter doesn't have it, but Peter's kind of like, I'm not really, Peter's my secret identity now.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is who I want to be.
It feels good to be confident. It feels good to have the abilities to be in control,
right?
To feel the power, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So he stops a carjacker. The police show up. He kind of dismantles the policeman, gets away or whatever. And that's, we're like, oh, we're seeing Spider-Man do good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he gets invited. Gwen invites him over for dinner, which of course her dad is the police captain.
Of course.
And he doesn't like Spider-Man because understandably so, he's kind of a mass vigilante. Like, we are the police. We are here to protect and serve. Yeah. Spider-Man needs to stay out of it, which instead of I feel like in a situation like this, kind of like Maguire selling photos of Spider-Man to Jameson, knowing that it would be used for anti-Spider-Man propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
I think Garfield Spider-Man isn't like that. Because here's another anti-Spider-Man person. And instead of just taking the low road and agreeing to keep the identity, he starts arguing with Captain Stacy.
Yeah, at the dinner table, at the Stacy
the first time you've met them. I think Spider-Man's
doing good.
Which
I think
Stacy's
maybe he's doing your job for you.
Yeah. He's getting a little too.
Yeah, that didn't sit too well with Dennis Leary.
I don't think it would sit too well with me either. Of like, excuse me. So it's time for Peter to leave. He goes up. Gwen's like, let's get some air, Peter. Like, let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Takes him up, and he reveals to her, I'm Spider-Man. Like, she's kind of arguing with him a little bit, understandably. She tries to walk away. He blasts some webs, throws his web at her. They kiss. And she's like, Emma, like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Like,
it's not just she just, kissed the guy that she has this big crush on.
Yeah.
He's Spider-Man.
Yeah. And my dad hates you.
Yes. All of these things happen within like 5 minutes.
Like,
of each
and
other.
she does an excellent job of channeling all that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've got that like Spider-Man background stuff established, we cut back over to Connors, which, again, Rotha's like, we need human trials now. Because they've tried with Peter's help, because he's clearly the best science mind in New York.
In the world.
In the world. He and Connors have teamed up to digitally try these, and they kept trying the trials with these digital mice, and they all kept dying, but they weren't ever changing anything in between trials. It just seemed like try the trial, fail.
Hit it again.
Success. And then it's like, oh, it works suddenly.
It worked.
So they tried it on a mouse, and the mouse regenerated a limb.
Yeah, on a 3-legged mouse.
So they're like, we're onto something here. Well, Rotha's like, we got to try human trials right now. And all this is based on lizard DNA, with the whole lizards they'll shed their tails as a defense mechanism with the ability to regrow. So
I'm chuckling in my head. There's a great Simpsons moment where Homer's he's at work and he gets his arms stuck. He gets both arms stuck in vending machines.
Okay.
Because like he pushed the thing and it didn't come out, so he reached in and grabbed it, but then he couldn't get his arm out, and then he reached in another one and grabbed it and he couldn't get his arms off. So the firefighters show up and they're like, I don't know how to tell you this. We're gonna have to saw your arms off. And Homer just looks at him and goes, they'll grow back, right? Yeah.
Sure.
And eventually it's like, wait, are you just holding onto the can?
Yeah. Like, oh.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So Connors, again, we're not going to human trials. People will be at risk.
Yeah.
We can't do this. So he gets fired.
Well, Roth just says, let's just go down to the veterans hospital and try it on them and just say it's for something else.
Right. Basically, just let's throw ethics out the window for this one.
At minimum ethics, let alone legalities.
Yeah. So, but Roth is like, you're fired. We're gonna do this anyway.
Yeah.
So Connors, in a bit of frustration, does try the formula on himself, and he passes out because he just heavy dosed. It's like human trials. You don't know. And when he comes back, he's regenerated his arm.
Mm-hmm.
So he then is on his way. Like, I've got to go stop Rotha because he's on his way to the VA hospital.
Yeah.
They get to the Williamsburg Bridge, and this is where the lizard DNA portion kicks in as Connors turns into the lizard.
Yeah.
Just this giant crocodile reptile look. I mean, he's just a giant lizard. I mean, it's all CGI, of course, but he did a great.
That was all practical effects.
Yeah, all Rhys Ifans.
They actually turned Rhys Ifans into a lizard. That's how committed to the role he was.
For this, well, human trials. So we get him rampaging down the bridge to get to Rotha still, and Spider-Man's senses are tingling, and so he shows up on the bridge because there's a monster on the loose. We get a bunch of standard Spider-Man, I'm after the bad guy, but I got to save these people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a car that goes tumbling off the bridge, and he's catching them all with his web, but that car's got someone in it, and it's C. Thomas Howell's kid, so you got to go save him. So we go save C. Thomas Howell's kid. That won't come back at all.
No, of course not.
And so he stops him. Like, he gets Lizard stopped, And the police then, because of this fight between Lizard and Spider-Man, and of course Captain Stacy's hatred for Spider-Man, there's a citywide manhunt for both of them. Connors, like Spider-Man follows Lizard to like his underground subway, or like not subway, but like
a lair,
like a sewage like piping and stuff. He tracks him to his lair, sets up a camera. He's got to take pictures of him. He wants to catch him in action, and gets chased. I mean, it's kind of a cool scene as he's waiting for him, and you see apparently thousands of chameleons or whatever. These lizards are running on the webbing, and Spider-Man's kind of thrown up. Well, the lizard's right there and attacks him, and they fight, and they're swimming through the sewers, and Spider-Man gets away. Well, Connors goes back and triggers the camera, takes it, and realizes it's Peter Parker's camera.
Yeah.
So he figures out that Peter is Spider-Man and goes to school to attack him.
Yeah, just shows up at the high school.
Yeah, which, of course, Peter was not anticipating. So they fight, and, of course, thankfully, our villain and our love interest both know Peter is Spider-Man, which really throws in the face of everything that they did in the first trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get this out of the way. People know. Some people know. So, again, it comes down to, Lizard's taking Gwen Stacy, who he knows who she is, which is kind of odd because, he recognizes her, but he's like, I don't care. You're going to be a hostage. So they're fighting, and he wins. He saves Gwen Stacy, and he fights off Lizard again to get going down to the sewer system, finds that he's made this lab, right? And realizes, because Peter is the smartest person in the world, that we get a little bit of like Batman Begins action here, where Connors is going to take this chemical thing, this regrowing of limbs thing, which really turns you into a lizard. And he's going to aerate it and blast it off from the top of Oscorp to infect the entire city of New York.
Yeah.
And if we do it from Oscorp, it's going to look like they did it. So everyone's going to be this hybrid. So it's a race against the clock. Peter needs to get to Oscorp before Connors gets there.
Yeah.
On the way there, he's still got, a wanted poster out for him. So he's facing police at every turn. And he ends up coming face to face with Captain Stacy. And Stacy's got him dead to rights.
Yeah.
And Peter takes his mask off and reveals to Captain Stacy, it's me, Peter Parker, which Captain Stacy didn't like Peter Parker either. So go ahead and do what you're like. Just do what you're going to do. If you're going to shoot him, shoot him. Shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. So Stacy lets him go, but he makes Peter promise. Well, not yet. We'll get to that. So
I promise.
Yeah. Stacy lets him go. Peter's been working with Gwen, notifies Gwen of what's going on, which honestly, if anybody's a sharper science mind than Peter Parker, it's probably Gwen Stacy, even though we don't ever see her do it. So he sends her back to Oscorp. You need to create an antidote for this agent. Yeah. Just go do that.
Go science up an antidote.
Yep. Just go do it. And so that's the race against time.
Yeah.
So he gets the antidote from Gwen. He's doing battle as he's trying to climb to the top. Lizard is winning in his attempt because it's already up there. Like, it's ready to disperse. Peter just needs to swap out the vials so that the one vial of antidote, because he's already used the agent on some of like the police that were
cops,
trying to corner,
like a SWAT team that had cornered Lizard earlier.
These people have kind of Lizard out a little bit. So he just needs to swap the vial to save these people. Captain Stacy ends up at the top of Oscorp faster than anybody could ever get up there.
Yeah.
And so he's keeping Lizard occupied as Peter disperses the antidote, which then of course comes raining down. Thankfully, New York's not that big because the one vial blankets the entire city.
Whole thing.
which includes Dr. Connors. So he's cured, which is not good because he's at the top of Oscorp, but he's cured. Captain Stacy was wounded by Lizard, so he's dying.
Yeah.
Peter gets to him and is basically told, stay away from Gwen.
Yeah.
Don't let Gwen become.
Don't involve her in any of this.
Yeah. And
promise me, Peter.
Right. Pinky promise. So in his dying wish, he's like, okay, fine. Cut to funeral and, like Captain Stacy's funeral. Peter didn't show up. Well, he's there, but he's, at the top of a mausoleum or something. He's not there.
Pretending to be a gargoyle.
Exactly. He's going to fake it. And Gwen just goes to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls him out.
That's one thing. That's one thing about the Gwen Stacy character that's different from MJ is she's very direct.
Mm-hmm.
Gwen Stacy is very direct.
Yeah. So Gwen Stacy shows up and just calls him out. Like, my dad died. And even Flash was there.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you? And Peter's pretty aloof. And Gwen, being smart, figures that out real quick. Of course, she knows he's Spider-Man. But she basically is like, he told you to stay away from me, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Peter's just like, we can't date anymore. Like, sorry your dad died, but so's our relationship. Yeah. And so, cut to school. They're both unhappy. And he shows up late to class. The teacher says something about, promises. Yeah. And he makes some line about breaking promises, in which she gets a smile on her face because she's like, I mean, I'm without a dad, but thankfully Peter's willing to be.
But I got Peter Parker back in my life. I got
Peter Parker. So, and that's the Amazing Spider-Man.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the Amazing Spider-Man, folks.
That's the one.
Yeah. Before we get into our ratings and all of our bits, what do you think of Garfield versus Tobey?
I like Garfield better than Tobey.
Okay.
I just think, knowing that Peter Parker is supposed to be a high school kid, this movie, granted, Garfield is way too old to be a high school kid.
Yeah.
But so was Tobey Maguire. They're both in their mid-20s, mid to late 20s. I didn't believe him as a high school kid, but I did believe him in a high school setting.
Sure.
I think this movie did a better job of creating a somewhat more realistic high school environment. And but like I told you, like last week before the show, I'm not a huge Tobey Maguire fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-Tobey, but I don't know. I don't, it's just, I prefer, I like Spider-Man 2 better than The Amazing Spider-Man, but I think I like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker better. And as Spider-Man, I think his Spider-Man's got more of that arrogant spice to it.
There's more charisma.
Yeah, a little more charisma.
Got more Riz.
Yeah. So that's my, how about you? What's your take?
Similar. Again, there's parts of the performance. I kind of like the naive Peter Parker. Again, I think I used the word earnest last week in describing him, but it's almost kind of like I like Tobey's Parker better, but I like Garfield's Spider-Man better.
Okay. I think one of the things that bothers me most about Tobey's Peter Parker is there's no personality. He is kind of a wet sponge in some ways. Yeah, I mean, and that, I think, the more I'm just kind of processing as we're talking, like there's just, as Peter, it's like naivety or bust. Sure, I could see that. Like when we eventually get to Tom Holland's Peter Parker, nothing but personality. Yeah, in his Peter Parker, like you look at Tom Holland as Peter Parker, and you're like, I believe this guy's a nerd. Mm-hmm. Like he catches himself staring at girls and tells himself not to. He builds Legos with his best friend. He's building Legos, yeah. It's like they really made sure that they nailed the Peter Parker element because that's part of it. And I just didn't ever get any of that. Everything with Maguire was, wow. It just seemed so awestruck by everything.
Like, I guess I like the relatability of Maguire's Parker.
That's fair. Well,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is a nice guy for sure. He's much nicer than Garfield's Parker because he was not very nice to either Aunt May or Uncle Ben.
Yeah. All right, folks, at this point in the show, Oz and I give our own unique rating about the film we've been yapping about, 2012's The Amazing Spider-Man. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this 7 John Arbuckles.
7 John Arbuckles?
Yeah, you're going to need that for the Garfield Spider-Man. What are you giving it?
Oh, I didn't even prepare this one in advance. I got to go... let's go with 70 bottles of milk at the bodega.
Okay.
70 bodega milks.
I can do
works. That. All right, folks. Every week, Oz and I scour the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well. In this week's edition of Outside Insight. Oz, what is your Outside Insight?
My Outside Insight was left on Letterboxd by Yakko, not Wacko or
not
Dot.
Wacko, not Dot. Definitely not Dot.
And it was left 2 days ago.
Ooh, very recent.
Wow. Actually, the best movie ever. I love this movie so much. My favorite movie ever. I actually don't know how people hate on this at all.
Wow.
Aunt May was the best in this movie she had ever been, and Andrew portrayed Spider-Man, and Peter's so good, actually, the best movie ever. Lizard was one of my favorite villains. I love everything about this movie, and Dr. Connors was awesome as well. Peter finding out about his powers was so good. The scene was so good. It was only the yellow eyes that got me. The rest, wow.
Was there any spaces between those words?
I paused at periods.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of them, no. Some of them were like, as well was one word.
Okay.
Like,
as well.
As well. No capitalization.
That's where Thor is from, right? As well.
Yeah, as well, yeah. There's no capitalization at all. Matter of fact, my Google Doc is throwing me so many grammatical errors.
Sure. A lot of red squiggles.
Yeah, it's very, very flowery. So thank you, Yakko. What's your Outside Insight?
I got 2 I'm going to bring, both as always from the Internet Movie Database. The first one is a 10 out of 10 left by Kingdom Keeper's Lover in July 2012. So just weeks after this movie came out, with the subject line, "Love this movie."
Okay.
High schooler Peter Parker is a photographer, a social outcast, and is fascinated in science. He visits Oscorp, his father's old job, and meets his father's old partners. He falls in love with Gwen Stacy and has to fight the lizard. 10 out of 10. Characters: Peter Parker, 10 out of 10. Gwen Stacy, 10 out of 10. Curt Connors, 4 out of 10. Uncle Ben, 9.5 out of 10. Aunt May, 7 out of 10. Lieutenant Stacy, 6 out of 10. Overall, 8 out of 10. Graphics, 10 out of 10. Music, 6 out of 10.
Okay. Thank you for that.
All the ratings are in this movie. Every one of them. The other one I'm going to bring you is a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Left in June of 2012. So again, also probably days after the movie came out, by Interquam, with the subject line, "Romeo and Juliet Spider-Man version." Ooh. Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield spend a lot of time in each other's breath. Fairly good direction, but I don't want to pay for seeing high school kids lick and salivate in each other's mouths. Maybe if they would have taken Charlito Copley instead of Rhys Ifans, I would have added another 3 stars. It's a romantic movie gyrating around the emotions of school kids, Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Everything else takes a back seat. I was bugged, and so I went to take a leak during their kiss. Oh, the bad guy, a giant lizard that could be easily squashed by a freight train or a truck. Duh. Much better than Prometheus because actors are very good.
Went to take a leak.
Went to take a leak while they were kissing.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. Quite
Thank
interesting.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes. Thank you. What was his name? Interquam. And I'm guessing him because that's written in male voice clearly.
Yeah.
All right, folks. It is that point in the show you've all been waiting for. The Let's Talk About Flicks signature segment. The 3, 2, 1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about this week's movie, 2012's The Amazing Spider-Man. Oz, what are your three goods?
My first one, Emma Stone, is
Yes.
she's just awesome in general.
Agreed.
She was just great in the Gwen Stacy role. I think she outacted anyone and everyone in the movie, but
Agreed.
that's Emma Stone. I think that's probably par for the course in any Emma Stone movie.
Yeah.
My second one, I actually, as much as I kind of dragged on all the Spider-Man backstory again, I was okay with this Uncle Ben death scene. It seemed a little bit more realistic in how it would be portrayed, unlike the original one where, where man robs a wrestling match and gets in a high-speed police chase, and it's, in the Maguire. This one was just
more grounded.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop this thief, and it didn't go well. Yeah. So, so that's my second good. And I thought the action scenes were actually pretty quality in this. I know it's all CGI, but even the stuff that was fun, like the discovery of my powers on the train, I just thought the action scenes were fun in this movie.
One of my possible goods is very similar to that, especially compared to the Raimi movies. And part of that is just advanced effects.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But they did a much better job depicting Spider-Man's quickness and agility.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so it definitely felt, it just felt more true to the character's abilities action-wise.
Yeah.
So those are my three goods. What do you got?
For my three goods, I'm going to mention one that was really close to one of yours, and that's just Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are really good together. Very authentic, great chemistry between the two. Movie needed more of that.
I almost put it's probably my favorite scene in this movie was when they had met in naturally an empty hallway at school and were just kind of flirting, and Emma Stone does this, they're flirting and then he asks her out or vice versa or whatever. And she just kind of does this cute little spin move with her trapper keeper. It just looked like I'm overwhelmed with happiness right now. And I need to physically do something with it. And it was just, and I think she's one of the only actresses that could pull it off so flawlessly where it's believable and not scripted. In your face. Yeah. And that's one of my favorites because I think there's a Coldplay song playing behind it. And it's just like you're watching it and you're like, for just that moment, I'm like, that's high school of kids that are working up the energy to tell each other they like each other. And then also trying to maintain the coolness while just being overwhelmed with joy. And it's right there. And though you're right, the chemistry of those two just nailed that part. I almost had it in my goods and I did.
Yeah, so that's my first good.
Yeah,
my second good, I really, really enjoy this sequence. It's the first Spidey lizard fight on the bridge, and there's C. Thomas Howell's car goes off the bridge, and his kid is still in the car, and Spidey goes down to save the kid. He climbs down the web. He's on the car, and the kid is just panicked. Yeah, as one would be. It's like a 10-year-old kid, and Peter knows that the only way he's going to be able to save this kid is if he's able to communicate and calm the kid down.
Right.
And so he takes off his mask because, you just, not only are you dangling from this bridge as a 10-year-old kid, you also just saw a masked man crawl down a web into your vehicle.
Right.
And so he takes off the mask, uses a soothing voice, and does the thing that great first responders do, great crisis counselors do. They narrate the moment. I'm gonna do this, and then he does it. Now I'm gonna do this, and then he does it to give assurance, grounds the moment, grounds the person that he's working with, gives affirmations. Hey, you're doing a great job with every step. You did a great job, taking my hand. You did a great job climbing up me. And he walks the kid through the moment like a crisis counselor would. And I really, really enjoyed that little sequence there.
Nice.
So that's my second good. My third good, by far the best of the goods. We get another movie, Curtis.
Yes, we do.
We get Dr. Curt Connors, and they do call him Curtis at one point.
Yeah, they do.
And it is Curtis with a C.
Well, it has to be. It's comic book alliteration.
Yeah. So my third good is just we get another movie, Curtis.
I love it. Good for you. There's so many Oz's.
American Pie.
Yeah.
Wizard of.
Yeah. And Ozymandias.
Ozymandias, who went by Oz to his friends.
Yeah. So.
Oz, what are your two bads?
Back to the C. Thomas Howell character.
Yeah.
We establish him, and it's a one-off, honestly. It was one of those like, hey, is that C. Thomas Howell? Later in the movie, as Spider-Man has revealed himself to Connors, has revealed himself to Stacy, and Stacy's kind of given him the apropos to go. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man gets fired on and gets shot, grazes his leg. Well, he's wounded now.
Yeah.
And he's still got to make it all the way across New York, which got really big for a moment.
Yes.
How am I going to get there when I can barely run? And there's no way to web sling my way across. Luckily, though, C. Thomas Howell is apparently a third shift crane operator. And everybody in New York is friends with him. So
yep, everybody.
Yeah. Spider-Man falls and he comes up on a crane, and they reveal all the crane operators happen to be working at a direct path between where Spider-Man is and Oscorp. So let's get him there. So within a matter of moments, all the crane operators get their cranes in position and basically give Spider-Man a Tarzan, George of the Jungle ability to just swing crane to crane to crane all the way to Oscorp to get there in fast motion. All this put in place because Spider-Man saved C. Thomas Howell's kid earlier in the movie. So my first bad is this crane relay to Oscorp. It was silly. It's just silly. Like, you created a plot hole where Spider-Man is too far away from where he needs to be, and then you're like, it just was dumb. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
my second
too
convenient. Very convenient. My second bad is that when Peter Parker decides I need a better suit, Spider-Man's suit always turns out better than what a novice high school kid should be able to do.
Yeah.
So that's my second bad. The early on phases where they're always just like a real loose fitting sweatshirt or something, that's believable for a high school kid. But he's like, never sewed a day in my life, but I'm going to make this spandex suit fit me flawlessly.
Yeah.
So that's my second bad. Spider-Man suits are always way better than they should be based on the talent level of the seamster.
Yeah. Well, and access to tools and
yeah. So those are my two bads. What do you got?
My two bads. This is a really inconsistent movie. So I'm gonna go with there's three that I really want to mention. So I'll say my backup bad is the movie is just too concerned about world building that it gets in the way of the characters. So that's my backup bad. My two actual bads, though, the first one is Sally Field is really bad. She's really bad as Aunt May. And the script doesn't give Aunt May much to do anyways, which doesn't help things. But she's even admitted that she really had no interest in the role. She didn't do any research for it.
Yeah.
She just kind of showed up and
too.
And
she's not happy with it.
No. And so
it shows.
She's just going through the motions. She's bad. And my other bad is some of the high school stuff was okay, but some of it, I don't know. The whole, in the beginning, they're in the hallway and it's like, there's a jock throwing a ball at a nerd and there's people making out everywhere. And Peter gets reprimanded for holding a skateboard.
Yeah.
But none of this other stuff gets mentioned. There's 50 people gathered around Flash as he's beating the tar out of Peter in front of the high school.
There's only one or two staff members in the entire building. That's
it. And the basket, I don't know what it is. There's something about the basketball sequence that bothers me.
It was very pointless.
It's like Peter showing off his new abilities to Flash, the school bully who physically bullies people.
Right.
And take the ball. And then Peter takes off from the 3-point line and dunks it and breaks the backboard. And it was very early 2010s. Just, I don't know. It's something about the high school stuff. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and it just didn't strike me as authentic.
It went nowhere. what Peter just did is impossible.
Yeah.
And they're just no, it just that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. There was never any suspicion of it's just that was it.
Yeah. And part of it seemed, I guess, inauthentic to the Peter character.
Yeah. The Peter character especially.
Yeah, like he wouldn't show somebody up like that. It just, that whole sequence just bothered me. So,
right. No,
so
I get you.
Those are my two bads. Oz, what's your
Why does an intern have so much access at a major corporation?
That's good.
Gwen Stacy can go anywhere in Oscorp. And does. Honestly, she does. And she knows how to run everything.
Of course she does.
She's an intern, and she's like, I will go make your antidote.
With these machines that I clearly know everything about.
Yeah. Like, her giving a tour to other potential interns, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. But she has full access to everywhere in the building.
Yep. Go anywhere, do anything, use all the equipment.
At a major biological corporation.
Yeah.
So, that's my
Very generous with their interns there.
They really like Gwen. So.
She's getting an extra college credit for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what's your
My is when Peter and the lizard are fighting down in the sewer. And something tells me I've mentioned this in another movie, or in another episode, but I can't remember. But like they're fighting in the sewer and they're getting dunked in the water and they're tumbling through pipes and things. How come we never see poop in movie sewers?
This is a return sewer.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But like, no,
you're right.
Like we never ever see, human waste.
No.
In movie sewers. We didn't see it in The Third Man. We didn't see it in Ninja Turtles. We don't see it in any movie. Just once. I want to see like a character in a sewer, like who's submerged themselves for whatever reason, and they come up and there's just a big turd on their head.
Right.
Or like or like wet stained toilet paper hanging off.
The old dirty Sanchez.
You guys smell something?
Yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, or even if while they're underwater, we just see one float by.
Yeah.
Nothing. You're right though.
No, we never see human waste in sewers.
Pristine sewers in New York City.
Every waterway is a return.
They're all returns. So
that's my
That's a good one. So well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks. We are now complete with 2 weeks in Spider-Man month.
Yes, we are.
What are we going to cover next week? I bet people could probably guess if they're paying any attention to
if you're watching this in sequence. Yes, we started the month with Sam Raimi's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2, and then we just finished up Mark Webb, Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man. So yes, folks, we are going to go in the linear order, and we're going to go to 2017 for Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah. Is both a play on words as Spider-Man's getting his first like Marvel Studios like homecoming in that regard, but also
he's coming home to the universe. Yeah.
But also Homecoming has the dance itself has a piece in the film.
Yeah. John Watts. I blanked on the director, but John Watts, who did all 3 of the first 3 MCU / Sony Spider-Man movies, as well as the new Fantastic Four movie as well.
Right. Yeah. So, which I've not seen that one.
It's okay.
It's okay. Well, that's pretty much the best any Fantastic Four movie has been.
Yeah.
it's okay.
It was okay.
Social media wise, Facebook and Instagram. Again, YouTube, if you're watching, just hit the website, let's talk about flicks.com.
Yeah.
And for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll be back next week with Spider-Man Homecoming.